Welcome back to the Midnight Mirage School of Learning Opportunities. And what I want to do in this tape is I want to talk to the American family about an old quote that you probably have heard before, but it is all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And whoever made this terminology more than likely was from mainland North America. And when they came up with this statement, they more than likely made it up because they became conscious and aware that these melanated groups from other continents that come to the United States of America, these are different groups of people. And although they may be cousin people, although there may be some type of an indigenous relation to these people, they are not the same group that we are. So let's just take a family lineage, for example, because all of us have cousins, all right? But let me ask you a question. Is your cousin more closely related to you than your brother or sister? I'm going to pause. I'm going to ask that question one more time. Is your cousin more closely related to you than your brother and sister? Who do you have more of a direct relation with? And of course, it would be your brother and sister. So me being somebody that's from North America, mainland North America, I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. My great-grandparents were born here. And my great-great-grandparents were born here. A lot of this information I know because we still have family cemeteries, in the South that, I can go back and see relatives that were born in 1875. So this is where I'm getting that understanding from. So in other words, your American family, the different people from the various, mainland states, these are actually your American brothers and sisters and those that have more of a direct, close relation to you as far as melanated ethnic groups. Now, some of these other people that come here, even if they have a relation to you, culturally, they're different. So if they're coming from one of the continents of so-called Africa, not only could they be Hamitic people and be different from you in that regard, but even if they're Shemitic, they still may have different cultural practices. Let's take some people in the Central Americas and South America. Some of them may be Shemitic people from the same ethnic group as us, but they have different cultural practices. All right. So you have to understand that, our group here is a very particular special group. Not special thinking that, we better than anybody else, but we are our own people. And that's something very, very important for us to understand because, see, the United States Corporation and their Freemasonic partners have created a lot of confusion terms, such as Black American and such as Native American and African American. And what has happened is that everybody that is of a certain phenotype and skin tone, you just get lumped under this one group called Black American. All right. But the truth is that when these people coming from Haiti, when these people come from Senegal, when these people come from, any country that they may be coming from, and they may be a melanated person, please believe that when they get here, they don't consider themselves as black. Because the truth is that term black actually is a misnomer for the indigenous American, mainland North American people, the Mississippian people, those that were from what we call the United States or the mainland area that were here prior to, any European arrival in the 14 or 1500s. So that term black is a misnomer. That term African is a misnomer as well. Let's take somebody like, I think the guy Elon Musk, one of the guys that's in the technology business. If I'm not mistaken, I think that guy's from South Africa. But, he's a Caucasian man, and now he's living in the United States as a United States citizen. So technically, he's an African American. Let's say it is a Caucasian person from somewhere in South Africa. And they may be a descent of the Dutch Afrikaners that were there in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, whenever that people came there from Europe, right? And let's say that they've been there for, over 100 years. And now they have Caucasian descendants who are coming to, get citizenship as United States citizens. Those people are more of an African American than the so-called Black American. So understand that these are misnomer terms. These are Freemasonic terms. Black American, African American. They're misnomer. I'll give you another example. One of my business partners, the brothers from Nigeria. And I was hanging out with his mother a few weeks ago. We were all just hanging out and we were talking about history. And I brought up that term black before. Now, mind you, that woman don't know anything about the Midnight Mirage. She don't know anything about these tapes. She don't know anything about this subject. This is a grown woman in her 60s that basically, grew up in Nigerian culture, and that's all she knows. So when I brought up that term black, she said, yeah, we don't use that terminology. And she also mentioned how they don't use that term Africa as well. So I'm talking about a Nigerian woman from the continent. They don't use that term Africa over there. That is a term that only is used in Europe and the United States of America because of Freemasonic confusion. So if you talk to people that are from the continent that we call so-called Africa, and they from one of the countries, they from Ethiopia, they're from Eritrea, they're from anywhere, any country, they're gonna say their nationality, and they may even give you an ethnic tribal name from their people over there. Because when I use the term Hamitic, that's just a biblical term for the various ethnic melanated people that are from that continent. But what I'm saying is that they're not going to use that term African. That term is only used here in the Americas, in particular by mainland North American people. And even that term African American is not even that old. Some of you all listening to this tape, are older than the term African American. Let me say that one more time. If you somebody that's probably in your, let's say maybe like late 40s, 50s, 60s, and you listening to this tape, you're older than the term African American. Yeah. If you are, we may not have nobody this old, but let's say you somebody that's 100, 90, 80 years old, 70 years old. That term black, you're older than that because that term black was made popular in the 60s. So understand that these are all misnomers. And that's why I said in the previous tape, human beings describe themselves by ethnicity and nationality. And ethnicities and nationalities have cultures associated with them. So we got to get away from that shit about just because somebody's a melanated person, we want to just automatically accept them in as the family. This may be some distant cousin. I'll give you another example. Let's take people from the continent of Hindustan, or what they call modern day India. We know that they are melanated people. Okay, they have copper colored skin complexions, bronze toned skin complexions, right? But when you look at them, clearly they are a different ethnic group of people. They have different facial features. They have different nose structures. They have different hair textures, etc. I know because I used to live around them. Matter of fact, I used to see people from Hindustan or East India that were darker than me. I've seen so-called East Indian or Hindustan people that are more darker than so-called black Americans. So am I going to say that they're black just because they're of a dark hue? The answer is no. And do you think they identify themselves as so-called black? No, they do not. They identify themselves as Hindustan. Now, as far as what they put on their, for their so-called race under the United States of America, I wouldn't be surprised if they put white. But they damn sure don't put black. So if you're from mainland North America, we got to understand that we got to get away from that whole black power, black pride bullshit, that whole Pan-African because everybody's melanated, we are all one family. Like that shit is out the door. A lot of our older ancestors that, was doing shit in the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s. I ain't saying they was bad people, but they misled us. All right. And it caused confusion and allowed a lot of agents to come in. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of, content on the internet lately about these foreigners saying that they created so-called hip hop and rap. No, they did not. That is a Mississippian mainland North American culture. What we call so-called hip hop and rap culture. That's a so-called black American thing, mainland North American, meaning that the brothers in New York, they started that. And then, of course, it spread throughout the country, and the brothers in other areas of the country, we just, added our own flavor to it. So when the hip hop culture went to the Midwest, the brothers freaked it and put their swag on it. When the hip hop culture went to the South, we freaked it and put our swag on it. When the hip hop culture went to the West Coast with the California brothers, they freaked it and put their swag on it. So no, hip hop and rap is a mainland North American culture. It's not a Jamaican culture. It's not a Dominican culture. It's not Puerto Rican. And even the Dominican, Jamaican, and niggas that live in New York, y'all are trying to be like the indigenous black Americans that are there. That is their culture. They are the ones that created the hip hop and the so-called rap. If I'm not mistaken, it started in the Bronx. one of you brothers may correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But no, it's hip hop. It started with us. That's our shit. But what's happening is these people, they come over here and they blackface us. So don't look at blackface as just being a Caucasian person painting themselves black and then putting on some pink lips or some red lipstick, and then now they just niggering themselves out eating watermelon and chicken. No, that's not blackface. Blackface also is when a motherfucker's from, let's say, Nigeria, and he bring his ass over here, and all of a sudden he trying to sag his pants. He put a red bandana in his pocket, and now he trying to talk with a slang like he one of us, and he using the N-word. That's blackfacing. A motherfucker coming from the Caribbean, and all of a sudden you think because you've been living in New York and some projects around all the brothers up there, and maybe you done slept with a few, mainland North American women, then all of a sudden you think that you one of us. No, you blackfacing. So that's blackfacing, y'all. The same how a lot in Hollywood, they go and get these niggas from other continents to play these North American roles. I didn't see the Harriet Tubman movie, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the actress that they had playing Harriet Tubman, she was from fucking Europe. Think about all these different movies when it's a mainland North American, indigenous American, Maya, Inca descent, North American person. They always got a foreigner playing the fucking role. It's like, nah, niggas sick of that shit. And I'm really making this tape because that goofy motherfucker that came in the comment section on the last video. Yeah, nigga, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Don't get it confused because you hear a nigga reading books and a nigga can talk a certain way on these tapes. Nah. I'm really tired of you niggas, man. I'm tired of the trolling. I'm tired of the confusion. No, nigga finna put your head on this guillotine. You finna get this tomahawk chop. That's what your ass finna get. And you come in the comment section talking stupid, I'ma roast your ass some more. I'ma highlight your shit and let niggas come and roast your ass some more. Cause you really finna get to work in this tape. But nah, niggas sick of y'all coming over here and blackfacing y'all way over here. That's what the 6ix9ine shit was in New York. So nah, I don't just look at the pale Caucasian or the pale Latino person like they blackfacing when they try to become Crip of Blood or try to take on street culture. Nah, I look at you other foreigners that's melanated from other countries. I look at y'all niggas the same way too. Yeah, that's facts. Nah, we are our own people. We are our separate group of people. Cause a nigga got in the comment talking about, oh, you trying to separate the melanated groups. You fucking right, I am, bro. I am trying to separate us. Yeah, I am. Because at the end of the day, the higher power put all of us here to be distinct, but we should all be able to get along. It's just like, let's say, the big lake or the water hole, all the different animals of all different species go there. You got the giraffe drinking water, the lion are drinking water, the hippopotamus in the water, the crocodiles are there, the gazelle are drinking water. All of these are animals of all different species, but they ain't all trying to amalgamate and be what the other one is. They know that we all share this water. We're going to all, try to get along at this moment in time because this is what we all have in common. So that's what all I'm saying is like, I'm not the type of nigga that's trying to create like a indigenous American people versus foreigner shit. Nah, I ain't up on that. But I am about to get some straightening with this shit like my nigga Tariq Nasheed said. Salute to him because I've heard a lot of what he said. He called them tethers. And he's right. And it ain't all foreigners. Because I got business partners that's from, other countries. And they cool. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are some real soldiers. Willing to get in the mud. So this ain't no us versus them type shit. But it is us separating and making a distinct highlight and expression for who we are. Yeah, we are a specific people. And that's just fact. So the next thing I want to talk about is, either now let me say this too, because either the person that left these comments, either they were ignorant, because if they were ignorant, that means that they just didn't know. Maybe they didn't have all the resources. Maybe they didn't have all the information. Maybe they didn't have the time to do their own investigation before they made these comments. I don't know what background this person is coming from. So I'm not going to be ignorant myself and just call them a troll because they could have made a comment and just didn't have all the information. And once they do receive the proper information, they may make a change, make an adjustment and say, oh, okay, Blackbeard, I didn't know this. And now they're going to correct it. And how I know that's true because I do that. I'm not a genius. I'm not an expert. I'm not the master of knowledge. Ain't not one time I ever came on this shit and came at you niggas like that. And as a matter of fact, ask the street niggas I grew up with. Niggas in the streets wasn't reading books and up on that shit like I was. And not one time did I ever make them brothers in the streets feel like they were ignorant, they were dumb, they couldn't read, or none of that. No, at Blackbeard, I come from a humble background. My mother and my grandmother, these are humble people. So I saw, you know what I'm saying? Just because you may be educated and you know something, that don't mean you got to try to tower yourself and lord over other people. So I'm not coming from that position if this person's going to hear this. And yeah, I'm going to say your name. What is it? Dominique Imhotep? Because I wrote the shit down. So I'm not coming at you if maybe you just didn't know. So you got two versions of people that leave comments. You got people that leave a comment and maybe they didn't do their homework and do enough investigation before they made the comment, and that's why they look silly. Or it's a person that's just trolling. Now, if you just trolling, that means that you don't care about what the real truth and information is. Maybe you have a certain ideology and principle you standing on, and maybe the cognitive dissonance that your ego is experiencing at the moment because you have to now find out that something you were holding on to as truth is not true. Maybe that's bothering you and it makes you feel uncomfortable. So of course a nigga like me who's coming, who's not a Freemason, who's not a Shriner, who's not a foreigner, who has no hidden objective, and I'm just telling the people the truth. And I'll even give you the resource where I get it from. You damn right you gonna have a fucking problem with a nigga like me. You know what I'm saying? So once again, either you a troll or you an ignoramus. All right. So because right now I don't know which one it is, I'm gonna make sure I keep my tone very neutral for the rest of this tape. Because my mother taught me and my father taught me not to just come down on people if you don't have a reason. But Lord knows they told me if you have a reason though, you cut that motherfucker's head off. So you better hope that I don't sniff out that your bitch ass is a fucking troll. If so, I'm gonna get you, man. That's what it is. I'm gonna fucking get you. You know, I'm gonna psychologically get you. I'm gonna emotionally get you because I know how to trigger you motherfuckers. All right. So don't you let now for one bit because you hearing a nigga say his words with ing at the end or ly at the end because your boy can articulate some shit and I can communicate. Don't you get this shit twisted not one bit. I'm a cutthroat, savage, Aztec warrior, heart pulling out type nigga. And don't ever get this shit twisted at all. It's two sides to this shit, buddy. So the first comment this person left, quote, it says, how did the ancient Americans teach ancient Africans how to build pyramids when in fact Africa has more and more that are still standing and visible? America doesn't have that many, neither do the Americas have ancient temples on the scale of Africa, end quote. And this was left by this person, Dominique Imhotep, on the previous comment. So what I'm going to do is use this comment as a teaching a teaching tool, not only for this individual, for anybody else, and to even brush up on just information, period. All right. So that's what it is. We want to use everything as a teaching opportunity. All right. Because nobody should have their ego involved. It's plenty of times where brothers come in the comment section, they'll say, hey, Blackbeard, you weren't right about this. You know, maybe you should switch this up. For example, I had brothers in previous tapes, you know, giving me certain health tips, telling me, hey, bro, you should stay away from these type of drinks because it has these type of additives in it. You know, once again, I didn't get mad and get in my ego. I like to get the truth and do what's right. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get out of our ego and just get what the truth is. So I love when brothers can come in the comment section and put me on game up on something. As a matter of fact, in the last tape, when I was telling y'all that I went to the Guatemalan restaurant and I got a drink, somebody actually came in the comment section and put what the drink was. And I was happy to see that. So, you know, the life is about getting the truth. You know, this is about pro-truth. And like my boy Chronicles of Judah say, I love how he said, this is a pro-truth channel for the so-called black man. And I agree. That's how I fashion my stuff. This is pro-truth for the so-called black American man. Okay? So this person basically is saying, how did the ancient Americans teach the ancient Africans how to build pyramids when in fact Africa has more pyramids that are standing and visible? So from this comment, I'm concluding that Mr. or Mrs. Dominique Imhotep thinks that the pyramids in Africa are older than the pyramids in the Americas. Now, we know that the pyramids in Africa, of course, the ones they show us are the 3 pyramids of Giza. But if I'm not mistaken, some of the older pyramids in Africa are the step pyramids, all right? Now, when you look at these step pyramids in the continent of Africa, or so-called East Africa, the country of Egypt, these step pyramids are not that developed. Okay, they look rudimentary, they look elementary. All right. So yes, there are step pyramids over there, but they're not complex. They aren't the graduated, evolved version of what a step pyramid is. If you want to see a graduated, evolved version of the step pyramid, you're going to have to come to the Americas, because the people who created the science and the masonry to build mounds and pyramids were from the Americas. This is a fact. They were from the Americas. So what I want to do real quick, I apologize about that. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to read a basic article that I found. It's called Pyramids in Latin America. It was released on September 30th of 2019. Okay. Now let's read this real quick. It's called Pyramids in Latin America by History.com editors. So if you want to find this is coming from the historychannel.com, Pyramids in Latin America. Let's read. All right. Now, right here, we have a picture of a pyramid complex, and we'll briefly read about rise of the pyramid builders, Pyramid of the Sun, Maya pyramids, Aztec pyramids, pyramids to the south, the Mochi and the Inca pyramids, etc. Let's read. It says, despite the towering reputation of Egypt's great pyramids at Giza, the Americas actually contain more pyramid structures than the rest of the planet combined. Civilizations like the Olmec, Maya, Aztec, and Inca all built pyramids to house their deities as well as bury their kings. So let's reread this. It says, despite the towering reputation of Egypt's great pyramids at Giza, the Americas actually contain more pyramid structures than the rest of the planet combined. So, I'm not saying that I'm an expert. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I'm just using common sense and deductive reasoning in this. So the comment said that, how did the ancient Americans teach ancient Africans how to build pyramids when in fact Africa has more pyramids and that are still standing invisible? Well, clearly the editors at History Channel disagree. And they agree with me, because they wrote, despite the towering reputation of Egypt or Africa's great pyramids at Giza, the Americas actually contain more pyramid structures than the rest of the planet combined. Civilizations like the Olmec, Aztec, Maya, and Inca all built pyramids to house their deities as well as bury their kings. So when I talk about the ancient Americans or the ancient Atlanteans, I'm talking about the Olmec, Maya, Aztec, Inca. These are the ancestors of the Mississippians, the people that are from mainland North America that we call Black Americans today. So we are a party to that same culture. It says, in many of their great city-states, temple pyramids formed the center of public life and were the site of holy rituals, including human sacrifice. The best known Latin American pyramids include the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon at Teotihuacan, in central Mexico, the Castillo at Chichen Itza in the Yucatan, and the Great Pyramid in the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan, the Pyramid at Cholula, and the Incas' Great Temple at Cuzco in Peru. So these are just various pyramid sites. So for that individual, Dominique Imhotep, that asked me, well, can you name some of these pyramid civilizations and these pyramid complexes? Let's read some of them so you can go and research them and figure out where they are. Some of these great city-states of the Americas. So, Mr. or Mrs., you can research the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon at Teotihuacan in Central America, El Castillo at Chichen Itza, the Yucatan, the real step pyramid, and the Great Pyramid in the Aztec city of Teotihuacan, the pyramid at Cholula, which actually I've seen that correlated with the pyramid or the Tower of Babel, and the Incas' Great Temple at Cuzco in Peru. So go look up the pyramids of Peru. Go look up the pyramids of the Yucatan. Go look up the pyramids of Guatemala, etc. All right, because what we know for a fact is that in the Americas, not only Central America, and throughout various parts of South America, and here in North America, mainly, we have various mounds. In so-called Africa, they don't have pyramids all over that continent. All right. So I could go deeper into this article, but, I'm not going to do that. You can go up and research it on your own. But I just wanted to read this so you'll understand that it's known for people that are actually reading and, trying to figure it out and don't have an objective and an ego. It's known that there are more pyramids in the Americas. The mounds of the Americas are older than a lot of the structures of Africa. It just is what it is. Let the jealousy go. Let the hate and the envy go. Just accept what it is. Now, this next thing I want to do is very, very interesting. Is your boy Blackbeard, doing a lot of on the journey. And in California, they have a high school called Compton Centennial High School. And this high school has a very, very interesting mural painted on it. All right. And I have a picture and an image of it. And I want to go through this because whoever drew this, they had an understanding of history. And they painted the history right in your face. First, I want you to understand is this. Compton, California is the home of mainland North America, ancient, descendants of the Mississippians and the Mafia. So that means that if you go to Compton, California today, there are so-called black people there. And if you go to this high school, there are so-called black students that go to this high school. And if I'm not mistaken, I think their mascot is the Apaches. All right. So you have this high school that's, in Compton, where all the melanated people are, called the Apaches. And I want you all to look at this mural that they have on the side of their building real quick. So here's a mural. Very, very nice. Beautiful painting. I was impressed when I saw it. So on this far left-hand side, you got a young indigenous brother, look like a student. He's on a computer. Look how he's doing his schoolwork. All right. Nice painting. In the middle, we have a three-headed indigenous American war chief with the war bonnet on. But on the far right, we have a very, very interesting painting. We have an indigenous American Maya Atlantean descendant priest sitting down in a teaching position, holding what looks like some type of a bowl with an orb in it, having a conversation or giving instruction to what looks like a Hamitic African person of Mizraim descent, of Nubian descent, Sudanese descent. All right. And this African looks like they have a tablet and they're writing down whatever this Maya person is telling them. So pay very, very close attention to the screen. And I want you to look it up. It is a mural for Compton Centennial High School. So even if it's not showing up that good on my screen, just check it out on your own and you'll see what I'm talking about. In this picture, you have the indigenous American Maya sitting down teaching the Hamitic African or the Hamitic Egyptian. All right. Right here. We're going to go to another picture of it. So as I told y'all, it's Centennial High School. It's in Compton, California. All right. Where the indigenous people go to school. And here's that painting. And here's a clearer picture. I don't know if you can see it better. But what you have right here is on the right hand side, right here, you can clearly see that this is a Shemitic, so-called Negro, Mississippian, North American. All right. So this is the predominant ethnic group that Black Americans descend from, not Africans. So when we talk about these Maya and these Aztec, these Olmec, these Mississippians, these people didn't come to the Americas from Africa. They just didn't. Do they have ancient bloodlines and blood ties to the other Hamitic, Shemitic groups that come and descend from Adam or descend from the original man and woman that live in that continent of Africa? Of course they do. So just because some of you all, and I don't trust these DNA tests, but because some of you all may take a so-called DNA test and it says you have so-called West African or African heritage, that doesn't mean that, somebody came from Africa and intermixed with somebody in Americas. How do you know that may not be from the original people? before they even went over into Africa. Because I'm not under that belief. And a lot of the reading and investigation, it's not saying that civilization started in Africa like we once thought. And we just read on the History Channel that there are more pyramids and mounds and pyramid cities in the Americas than Africa. Matter of fact, it said more than the rest of the world combined. So fuck Africa. It said it's more pyramids in the Americas than more than the rest of the world combined. So that means if you take the continent of Africa, the continent of Europe, and the great continent of Asia, India, Southeast Asia, and take all the pyramids and you combine them, it's still more in the Americas. So the person you see on the screen right now is the original step pyramid builder. And that's why that step pyramid is our pyramid. So that them pyramids of Giza with the smooth side, the equilateral triangle, that's the Africans' pyramid. Y'all let them have they pyramid. That's theirs. But the step pyramids, that's us. That's us. So part of the Freemasonic confusion was not to put the step pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. Because if you see that step pyramid, then you're going to start looking down in Mexico. And then if you look in Mexico and look on the walls, you're going to see the people look like this. And it'll be easy for you to start putting two and two together and think, well, maybe the people of color that we call Black Americans, if it was already a melanated Negro group of people in the Americas, maybe they came from that group versus thinking they came from somewhere thousands and thousands of miles away. Once again, I'm just using common sense and logic and reasoning. I'm not no Albert Einstein. I'm not no Tesla. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular guy. But I got a little bit of something. So once again, you see on the person in the screen, this is the ancient Maya. This is the ancestor of the Black American. And you see they're holding something in their hand and they're teaching. They're giving instruction. Now, you see right here, you have the Hamitic, so-called African, all right, or the so-called Egyptian. All right. So they're both melanated people, but they look a little bit different. And you can see that this Hamitic person has a pen and pad and they're taking notes. They're writing down what the ancient Mississippian is telling them. So let me ask you the question. Who is the teacher and who is the student in this picture? You tell me. Let me ask you a question. When you was in school growing up, did you ever see the teacher with a pen and pad in their hand and them writing down what you were saying? Or were you always the one sitting down with a pen and pad in your hand, writing down what the teacher was saying? So typically the teacher doesn't have a pen and pad in their hand. Typically the student has a pen and pad in their hand. Typically the teacher is the one talking and giving instruction. And typically the student is the one quiet and is writing down what the teacher is saying. So while you coming with this shit talking about Imhotep built the first step pyramid, yeah, he did build the first step pyramid. But his ass must not have been paying too much attention in Maya Mississippian class because his step pyramid don't look shit like the ones we created. So maybe his ass wasn't listening hard enough. So you tell me what the fuck you see right here in this picture. Does it look like the ancient Maya is learning from the Egyptian? Or does it look like the Egyptian is learning from the ancient Maya? So this is why I say that we the ancient culture. This is why I say that we the oldest ones. It's right here in front of you. And what's crazy is that before I discovered this image, when I made that tape earlier, I didn't even know this image existed. I saw this when I made that tape. The tape ended. I published it, uploaded it on YouTube, and I went on about my day and then ended up discovering this. So between me making that first tape and making this one now, I didn't even know this picture existed. This mural is literally painted on a fucking high school in Compton, California, and who knows how long it's been there. It probably ain't even brand new. And it's a high school full of so-called Black students. It's like, damn, when this niggas gonna see this shit? But what it is that you North American brothers, y'all see it. It's these foreign, like my nigga Tariq Nasheed say, these tether ass niggas. They the ones that see it and they the ones getting hating and they jealous and they mad. It's the same way like when they want to be like us with the hip hop shit and the rap shit. It's the same like when they want to be like Michael Jordan and all out. Anybody that's from the North America and they popping, when we create some shit and everybody else want to be like, it's the same shit. And instead of people just saluting you and saying, this is where I got it from. You know, when we do this today, we paying homage to the ones we got it from. Instead of niggas doing that, they want to hate. They just want to hate. So instead of people just saying like, okay, the original pyramid culture, it really do come from the Black Americans. But instead of them saying that, motherfucker just want to hate. But you know what? Go ahead and hate. Because Blackbeard, the cutthroat Seminole, Blackbeard, the red stick, Blackbeard gonna come and put your ass under that guillotine. I don't give a fuck if you gonna hate. Because one thing about it, I don't give a shit about your ego, your feelings, or none of that. That's a fact. So you bring your butt broken ass back in my comment section with that dumb shit, and you gonna get this work again. And you goddamn right I'm saying shit to badger your ego. All I'm doing is fishing and reeling you in. You don't know what type of nigga you dealing with. I'm the master Machiavellian. And then you think when I get done making this tape, I'm thinking about your stupid ass? Of course not. I'm out here actually putting in real work. I'm out here writing and publishing books, working on documentaries, working on different ways to express what our culture is and give it back to the people. So instead of you worry about what the hell I got going on, why don't you take your ass over there to Africa and put some work in with them? Since y'all niggas is so pan-African and y'all so Egypt this and Egypt that, well, take your fucking monkey ass back over there then. Yeah, take your ass back over there. I ain't from over there, nigga. I'm from Georgia. Yeah. Nigga, I grew up eating collard greens, sweet potato pie, potato salad. Yeah, nigga, we grew up having fish fries on Friday nights. Fuck is you saying? Nigga, I grew up having to swat mosquitoes, nigga. Nigga swatting gnats in the South, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? So you take your ass back over there to Africa as that's where you from. You know, and I know this may sound a little bit aggressive, you know, and if you're a foreigner listening to this and you down, you know, and you respect the culture, we ain't talking to you. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking to you. But I just had to make this man to get some straightening on some shit, you know. But yeah, that comment section open, and commenter beware. I'm out.